What's up, YouTube? I'm here to do a review of Toriko chapter 243. Now, I know I'm like a week late because I was on vacation, but Toriko so far for the last 10 chapters has been epic week after week. I have to give this chapter a 10 out of 10 rating, and therefore I will do a review on this chapter. Fairy Tale, I'm probably going to have to skip ahead. So yeah, I missed two weeks worth of Fairy Tale, so I'm just going to read them both and do one whole review on both chapters, but not for Toriko. And some of you might be saying I'm biased towards Toriko. I'll give you that. I'll lower the rating from 10 out of 10, which is like epic, to 9.5 out of 10. So it's a more realistic. I mean, 10 out of 10. That's a pretty very hard. That's very hard rating to get. You have to have like a perfect chapter. However, this chapter I would say it comes as close to perfect as you can get. But I'm going to give it a 9.5999999 out of 10. And so, spoiler alert, and I'm assuming you've read the chapter, so there will be no chapter summary for the most part. Basically, I I thought it was an amazing chapter. There's like every single chapters for like the last month or so has been like plot twist after plot twist, and these are like major plot twists. Like, what's going on? Mysterious thing coming out. New thing coming out. What's this new thing? Who's he? Plot twist, backstab, backstabbed again. New person. It's like week after week, it's just new stuff that blows your mind. And this is yet another week where it blows your mind. And the thing about it is that I'm pretty sure the author is like making this stuff up on the spot. I guarantee you he had not decided that Frohze-sama would be Joa until he made this week's chapter. I mean, there's no way. Like, the way the plot was going, there's no way he decided that until this week. And so it's ridiculous. For the most part, I'm going to keep it very short though. All the details, I just want you to reread the chapter and soak on that on your own time. But I want to hit the main points before I forget them. The biggest thing, obviously, is knocking Master Jirou's ultimate grand knocking. That's what it's called, grand knocking. He gets super buff, and then like his eyes become like freaking demonic. He like pounds the ground. A huge shockwave comes out, and we all know what happens. He quote nearly stops the rotation of the entire Earth. We see a pan out of the entire Earth, and apparently, we know for sure that he has placed knocking on every single person on the island, so none of them can move apparently. Probably Joa slash Frohze-sama can move. I mean, we don't know her power level. Probably she can move, but probably no one else. And we can tell that Jirou is quite the character. He's kind of like Mansum, in the fact that Mansum, before he was tamed, was a sort of uncontrollable beast that has never lost a fight. It had immeasurable raw physical power. And we see in this chapter a little back history on Jirou, and he was kind of the same way until Acacia found him. And so a lot of this might be answered because next week's chapter is technically already out, but I'm curious to see exactly what is up with Jirou and what's up with Frohze-sama, because I mean, before I get into that, I have to commend Jirou for what he's done. Apparently, this is knocking not just on the human world, but the entire gourmet world. I mean, apparently he has supposedly done knocking on every single inhabitant of the entire world. Now, do I think this is practical? No, because in terms of power schemes, that seems unlikely, almost impossible. I mean, we're talking like Medora and all these other people in the gourmet world right now. who supposedly would have been knocked as well as all the unknown gourmet world creatures with immeasurable capture levels. So, do I really think that he did knocking on the entire world? No. I personally think he did knocking. He tried to do knocking on the entire world with his technique. He managed to do it on most of the island's inhabitants, but as far as the gourmet world and everyone else in it, they pretty much were just like, this guy's trying to do knocking on me. I'm just going to negate it. And so Jiraiu's going to negate it along with most of his company, and Joe is probably going to negate it as well. He's just going to be like, it's kind of like if any of you watch Chinese wuxia, they have this thing with like the pressure points. Like if you hit it in the right order, it paralyzes them. But if you're like skilled enough in kung fu and stuff, you can like naturally negate it yourself without like having anyone else like undo it for you. So it's kind of like that, and I feel like that's what's going to happen. Basically, he's only technically knocked the people on the island, not the entire world. Even though it did span out and you saw the entire Earth, and at first it said he stopped the Earth's rotation because he was so angry. He wasn't angry. He was just annoyed. He started yelling. He yelled and he was like, "Everyone be quiet!" And he pounds the ground and knocks everyone. But then Joe was like, Joe slash Frohze-sama was like, "You nearly stopped the Earth's rotation." So he didn't stop it. And then we have the next point, which is Frohze-sama. Now there is the possibility she has been corrupted. I don't know if this is as likely as what happened before with Chio, because we're talking the combo partner with Acacia, who is like apparently the strongest person in the whole Toriko universe. And so this brings up questions. How old is Frohze-sama? If she's still alive and she still looks so young, is Acacia still alive? If he's not, did he fake his death? If he faked his death, where is he now? It brings up a lot of questions. And then there's the next interesting point, which is what is up with Frohze-sama's face. We've seen a few pictures of her in previous chapters, and she has a very, normal complexion. Here we see like freaking like scars running down her face. Well, it's not really scars. It's like patchwork. Like each piece of skin is like sewn together. It's almost like this potentially means she was dead, and then she found some forbidden dark technique to revive herself or keep her immortal. And this could be a high possibility because as you can see, we have stuff in the Toriko universe with like the rejuvenation knife, and that can like revive people who are fatally wounded and stuff and keep them from aging. Well, I don't know about aging, but the point is, this is a possibility. I mean, look at Setsuno. She's like hundreds of years old, so obviously there could potentially be immortality. Maybe, just maybe, Acacia gave Frohze-sama that item on his full course, which supposedly makes you immortal. And again, we have actually seen one person in the Toriko universe already who is immortal. So it's a high possibility. And so I have to commend Knocking Master Jirou. I have to commend Joa slash Frohze-sama. And that's pretty much the entire week's chapter in a nutshell. Those are the two big points. Oh yes, and one final tidbit. Again, commending Jirou. His flick of the nitro, it was apparently strong enough to damage the nitro by blowing off his head, as well as delicate enough to perform knocking on the nitro. Because even without his head, the nitro are supposedly still able to rampage on for months on end. So for the nitro to be paralyzed there, it shows Jirou's power. And so this week's chapter, MVPs go to Jirou and Frohze-sama. Jirou mainly for all his quick display of his power, and Frohze-sama for, again, the interesting plot twist with the story. So that's all I have to say with this. Again, it's going to be fairly quick because this week's chapter has already been released for a week, and we have next week's chapter already out to talk about. See you guys later. Peace out. Like, rate, comment. If you have insight or discussion you want to tell me in the comments below, I do read and reply back for the most part. And I'll see you guys later. Like, rate, and most importantly, subscribe. It's free. Peace.